Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Dr. Zina speaking. Today I will be talking about the complete anatomy of the mandible. If you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell in order to receive my upcoming videos. So let's start now. Now we will start speaking each one in details, starting with the condylar process. Now, what is the condylar process? The condylar process is the process on the mandible that articulates with the disc of the temporomandibular joint. It is also referred to as the condyloid process. So we can name it as condylar process or condyloid process. Any name is acceptable. So it's very important is the one that articulates with the temporomandibular joint. Here is a clearer picture showing you the exact location for the condylar process, which is also referred to as the condyloid process. Secondly is the coronoid process. Coronoid process provides a point of attachment for the jaw muscles responsible for chewing, which are the masseter and the temporalis muscles. So here is a clearer picture showing you the exact location for the coronoid process. On the left side, we have the masseter muscle. On the right side, we have the temporalis muscle. Both these muscles, they are connected through which point at the end is the coronoid process. Not the condylar process, it is the coronoid process. Next is the submandibular fossa. Submandibular fossa is a concave depression located on the inner aspect of the mandible, as you saw. It serves as the anatomical site for the submandibular gland to reside. So as the name suggests, submandibular fossa is through which the submandibular gland is located. Here is the exact location for the submandibular fossa, and the yellow part that is surrounding it is the submandibular gland. So as you can see, it is located on the inner aspect of the mandible, inside, not outside. Next is the sublingual fossa. Similar to the submandibular fossa, it is also located internally inside or in other words, on the internal aspect of the mandible. So it is two shallow depressions that are found along the internal surface of the body of the mandible. And as the name suggests, sublingual fossa accommodates the sublingual gland. The sublingual gland, which play a key role in saliva production. So we have two things. We have submandibular fossa for the submandibular gland, and we have the sublingual fossa for the sublingual gland, all of which are salivary glands that play a key role in saliva production. Here is the exact location for the sublingual fossa, and the yellow part that is surrounding it is the sublingual gland. Next is the alveolar process. On the maxilla, the alveolar process is a ridge that is located on the inferior surface, whereas on the mandible, it is a ridge located on the superior surface. What do I mean by superior and inferior? I will explain to you in a couple of seconds. Superior or inferior, it depends on the position of the teeth. Like on the left side, on the maxilla, the teeth are positioned down. That's why we said inferior surface. Whereas on the right side, that is the mandible, the teeth are positioned up. So that's why we said superior surface. Next is the mental foramen. As the name suggests, the mental foramen is an opening through which the mental nerve exits from. It is located either between the roots of the first and the second mandibular premolars or apical to the second premolar. That is the location. Some patients, they have it just apical to the second premolar. Other patients, they have it located between the roots of the lower first and second premolar. Like in this picture, the mental foramen is located just apical to the mandibular second premolar. Next is the mental protuberance. The mental protuberance is triangular. The shape of it is triangular. Midline, located in the midline, found along the external surface of the body of the mandible, not like the sublingual fossa or the submandibular fossa that are located on the internal surface of the mandible. And you can remember their names by its exact name. Like for instance, the sublingual fossa, sub means under, so it is on the internal, similar to the submandibular fossa. Submandibular, so sub is down, so it is also located on the internal surface of the body of the mandible. Anyways, the mental protuberance, it is also known as mentum, which is a prominent feature of the human skull that we commonly call it as the chin. As you can see, the mental protuberance, number one, midline, located in the midline. Number two, it is triangular. Number three, it is also known as mentum. And lastly, it is the chin. The last structure that I will be speaking about is the mandibular foramen. The mandibular foramen, also known as the inferior alveolar foramen. Why it is called inferior? Because it is located on the internal aspect of the ramus of the mandible, whereas similar to the positions or the location of the sublingual fossa and the submandibular fossa, it is also on the internal surface of the mandible. Now, the inferior alveolar nerve as well as the inferior alveolar vessels enter the foramen and supply the lower jaw as well as the teeth, some oral sensation and sensation over the chin, all of which is through the mandibular foramen. So remember that from the mandibular foramen, the inferior alveolar nerve will descend together with the inferior alveolar vessels as well. And the nerve, of course, it will supply the lower teeth together with the carries some oral sensation and sensation over the chin area. So this is the exact location for the mandibular foramen. Remember, if anyone asks you, from where does the inferior alveolar nerve come from? You should say that it's coming from the mandibular foramen. So the mandibular foramen, or also referred to as the inferior alveolar foramen. And they might ask you why it is called inferior, why not superior? Because it is located on the internal aspect of the ramus of the mandible.